Hello and welcome to the Inspiring Life School podcast. This is your host, Frances Vidakovic, and on this podcast, I'll be sharing with you the most valuable strategies to live your one wildly beautiful and most precious life. Because this is it, my friend. In case you haven't guessed, when it comes to life, there's no rewind or pause button that exists. They say that the way that you spend your days is the way that you spend your life. So my one and only goal here is to help you stop wasting your time, stop holding yourself back in life, stop experiencing non-stop negative mind chatter, stop just dreaming without doing, and start living life fearlessly instead, with more purpose, focus, and intention. I sincerely want you to live life in a way that when you come to the end of it, you know deep down in your heart that you 100% gave it your all, flaws and all. This podcast is not about doing life perfectly. Instead, it is about experiencing and living life with more clarity and courage and truly appreciating this precious adventure that we are so blessed to be on. So if you're with me here today, it's time to stop spinning in circles, get off the hamster wheel for good, put your hands back on the steering wheel of your life, and finally start living life in a way that you won't later regret. With that being said, let's dive on in. Hello my friends, this is Frances Vidakovic and welcome to the Inspiring Life School podcast. This week I have something super special for you. I'm going to be sharing with you a masterclass that I recently recorded for my private email list. Now it is honestly so fantastic. So if you actually want to go ahead and watch the video that goes along with this audio, go to inspiringmomlife.com/golden. So it's inspiringmomlife.com/golden. So that's spelled GOLDEN. And as soon as you sign up, you're going to get instant access to the video, in addition to a special offer that you're going to hear mentioned at the end of this masterclass. So if you really prefer to watch videos, make sure to check out that link. Otherwise, let's dive into this episode, which is all about me sharing with you how to turn shitty stuff into gold, my friend. This one is seriously golden. Hello, my friend. I am so excited to be presenting this masterclass to you, where I'm going to share with you exactly how to turn the shitty stuff in your life into gold. So what this shitty stuff might look like to you is shitty thoughts, shitty feelings, shitty actions, and shitty results, because things will always fall into one of these four categories. But you might be thinking, well, you've got this all wrong. The thing that's actually really shitty in my life are my shitty circumstances. But this is where I need to lovingly and gently remind you that all circumstances in this world are actually neutral, and they only have meaning when you give it meaning with your thoughts. So before I share with you what I mean by this, I'm going to give you a quick little intro for those who aren't familiar with my work. My name is Frances Vidakovic and I'm the host of the Inspiring Life School podcast. I'm the CEO of the website Inspiring Mom Life, a course creator with a degree in psychology, and I'm a certified life coach. I've been certified since 2001, so over 20 years. And my expertise lies in helping women manage their mind, life, and time better so they can go out there and confidently begin living their one wildly beautiful and precious life with more intention and less regret. And this all starts with how you manage your mindset. So what do I mean by this statement that all circumstances in your life are actually neutral? So let's just start by using an example of a situation that you truly believe is really shitty in your life. Like maybe your partner forgot to buy you a birthday present. So you have a scenario that your husband didn't buy you a birthday present, which on its own has no meaning until you give it meaning with your thoughts. So for example, in this situation, you might be choosing to think thoughts like, well, my husband doesn't care about me. This could potentially be the thought that's running through your mind when he forgets to buy you a gift on your birthday. And of course, like you could choose to think a lot of shitty thoughts like, oh, he's such a dick, he's so inconsiderate, he doesn't love me, he's selfish. But for the purpose of this example, let's just stick with the thought, my husband does not care about me. So how would you feel if you were thinking this specific thought? You'd probably feel a little bit unloved, right? Because you're sitting there, you're believing this thought that he doesn't care about me. And because your feelings influence and fuel your actions, how do you think you might act when you are feeling unloved? You might ignore him, you might secretly be fuming or lash out at him, all which leads to this result that you don't really care about your husband in this moment either. Now here's the crazy thing, like you might be thinking, well, the situation of your husband not buying you a gift is intricately connected to you feeling unloved. But if you were to think this, you're missing like one vital step that exists between any situation in this world and your feelings, because your feelings aren't caused by other people or outside events. They're actually caused and they're a consequence of you thinking first a specific thought, which in this example was, he does not really care about me. And I know it's very tempting to want to shout, but hang on, like I can get 100 people to agree with me right now. Okay, this is the truth. Okay, it's not just a thought. Is it really true for every single person in this world? This is where you need to put on your thinking cap and ask yourself, are there people in this world who might experience the exact same situation and instead choose to think something different about their partner? Now, I know for me, like I can think of two people straight away who wouldn't have had the same reaction. Like my grandparents, who I lived with for a year after finishing university, we lived in this beautiful tiny island village on the top of a mountain. They had the most loving, beautiful relationship ever. Okay, they are my role models and they were married for over 60 years, but never once did they buy each other gifts or use this fact to imply that the relationship was anything less than loving. So just consider whether there are alternative thoughts that you could have entertained at this moment, the moment that your partner does not buy you a gift. So for example, like you could have chosen to think, well, it's okay that he didn't buy me a gift, like he's had a really busy week at work. Is this possibly true? And if so, how would this different thought have made you feel? A more curious thought like this might generate in you a feeling of understanding. And when you're feeling understanding, what sort of different actions do you take? Like you might kiss him as soon as he comes home, give him some space to rest, lightheartedly remind him, it's your special day and you can't wait to celebrate with him later on. Or you might have actually even anticipated his forgetfulness and bought yourself a gift in advance. And all of these different actions lead to the result of you being totally okay with your husband not buying you a birthday gift. And just to insert like a fun fact about me, like my husband and I have been together for over 25 years, and a week before my birthday, like most years, I'm already telling him like, oh my gosh, like I love the present that you're going to be giving me this year, because after so many years together, I love buying myself exactly what I want. And then both he and I are super happy about this present giving process. So the point that I want to highlight here is that all of your feelings of suffering come from thoughts that make you feel this way, not the situation itself. Like, did you know that you can actually choose to think whatever you want about the stuff that happens in your life? A million different people in this world will have a million different thoughts about the exact same situation. And what's going to transform a neutral circumstance into a shitty one is simply choosing to think thoughts that make you feel shitty. Like, it seems so obvious, right? And there are plenty of people in this world right now who don't even celebrate their birthday. They don't give a hoot whether a present is gifted to them or not. And there are also people who would much prefer to book a dinner for that weekend to celebrate their birthday rather than like receiving a wrapped gift. And even though it's the same situation, exact same scenario, their different thoughts are going to lead to different feelings and ultimately different actions and results in life. And the thing is, like, nothing's actually a problem until you decide this is a problem for me. So now I want to share with you a second example. Let's just say you're a mum of 2 young kids and your youngest child has hit your oldest child while watching a movie. So a very specific situation. And as I pointed out to you before, this event is actually neutral until you give it meaning with your thoughts. And in this example, you could choose to think, my youngest child is out of control. And it sounds pretty true to you, right? But when you think this thought, my youngest child is out of control, how does this thought make you feel? Probably make you feel angry, which leads to you yelling at your child, ripping their iPad out of their hands, maybe punishing them in a way that's way harsher than you normally reprimand your child, which leads to what sort of result? You are actually now out of control. But hang on, you might be thinking, my child really is out of control. And you might want to argue with me on this fact until you're blue in the face and insist hitting equals out of control. But what really happened here? Your child acted in a particular way, or maybe he or she said specific words, and you decided to interpret this situation with a thought, my child is out of control. And I want to point out to you that out of control is really open for debate. Like, what does that phrase even mean? Do you think that every single person in this world will define that phrase in exactly the same way? Like, even Google offers a dozen different definitions, like getting carried away, disorderly, out of hand, rebellious, uncontrollable, and no longer possible to manage. And maybe your child wasn't even out of control. Like, maybe he or she knew exactly what they were doing. Maybe they intentionally acted this way because they had a thought that led to them feeling provoked, and the action of slapping their sibling's arm away was exactly what their underdeveloped brain thought was the best solution or the most useful or effective action they could take in this moment. So let's try on some different thoughts together here. Like, what's a different thought that you could choose to embrace at this moment? Well, you could potentially choose to think, well, he or she is still learning how to manage their emotions. And if you thought this particular thought, what would you feel? Probably compassion on your behalf. And how would you act in this moment if you were feeling compassionate? Maybe you would turn this into a teaching moment for your child, or you could possibly give them some alternative actions that they could take whenever they're feeling provoked. Maybe you would still lovingly discipline them, but in a way that wasn't fueled by anger or rage. Instead, it would be more like, that's such a shame that you hit your sibling, because in this house we have a rule, and the consequence for that action is that you need to sit in your room now for the next 30 minutes. And obviously this would be most effective if you've like clearly spelled out the rules of your home ahead of time, in addition to the specific consequences that are defined for not following those rules. And the result of you taking these specific actions would coincidentally be that you yourself are managing your own emotions well. Now, isn't that funny? Like, the thoughts that we think are usually reflected back to us in the results that we create in our life. And just like a parenting side note here, did you know that you can follow through on any consequence without ever getting angry? Like, you can do it out of love because you want the best for your child. You can do it out of service because this is how you best equip your child with new skills and new knowledge, rather than defaulting to you behaving out of control whenever you think that your child is out of control. Now, if you're listening to this masterclass and thinking, well, none of this actually applies to me because I'm not in a relationship, I'm not a parent or a carer, well, the good news is that this domino effect where your thoughts are going going to impact your feelings, which are in turn going to fuel your actions and results in life, actually applies to every situation in life, every single one. Like you can bring to mind literally any situation that you might have involving a parent, a sibling, a friend, a boss, a coworker, even a specific event or result. And it's always going to be your specific thoughts about that event as opposed to the situation itself that are going to make you feel a particular way and act in a particular way and generate particular results in your life. So I hope that this is all clicking for you before I take you to the next level where I teach you more advanced tricks to turn even the shitty situations and yes, literally any situation that you truly think is shitty into gold. So in a nutshell, other people and other events and other situations can't make you feel shitty or angry or sad or stressed or any emotion. It's always going to be your thoughts about the situation that you're choosing to dwell on, that you're choosing to hold tight onto, that are going to make you feel those feelings: shitty, anger, sadness, stress, all of that. Are you with me on this? So whenever you experience any emotion in life, positive or negative, I want you to practice pinpointing the exact thoughts that you were thinking that generated those feelings for you, because A is always going to be connected to B here. Now, before we move on to the golden stuff where I teach you how to be a total alchemist with the power to transform your own thoughts, I want to chat with you briefly about really shitty thoughts. And I think it goes without saying that it would be impossible for me to list every shitty thought, like a thought that falls into this category, but I want you to know this, okay? The simplest way to pinpoint a shitty thought is by the way it makes you feel. And does a thought make you feel some version of shitty? And I'll chat more about shitty feelings in the next section, but yeah, if it's making you feel pretty shitty, I want you to consider that to be an unuseful thought or a shitty thought. So just to give you a few examples of crappy thoughts, shitty thoughts, because I really do have the same sort of flavor, it might include thoughts like this: well, I have no control over this situation. I'm a victim here. That was wrong. He or she shouldn't have done that, or they should have done this instead. I have no power here. That was not what I wanted to happen. I'm a failure in some way. I'm failing. And of course, when you're thinking thoughts like this, it's going to lead to shitty feelings like helplessness or anger or frustration or rage or shame or regret. And what do you think is going to happen when you take action from this wide variety of shitty feelings? Well, if you're following me using this cognitive behavioral triad, then it's most likely going to be shitty actions. Okay, you're going to ruminate and dwell in this misery. You're going to lash out at others. You're going to blame other people for your negative feelings without even realizing that it's your thoughts that are causing your feelings. You're going to remain stuck, and you will fail to take positive actions, because positive actions are pretty hard and impossible to do when you're experiencing negative emotion. Now, this is where I want to point out to you that your thoughts are like little stories that you tell yourself about the world, and it's these stories that you continue to tell yourself that are causing you your pain. It's the stories that you choose to believe are the truth about you, the truth about others, the truth about your past and your future and your world. And the operative word here is choose. And then you go ahead and you entertain these on a daily basis, and these thoughts are causing you to suffer, even though it's not a fact, it's just your interpretation. If you wanted to, you could choose to view the world through a different lens by trying on different thoughts. So let's take these ideas to the next level so I can finally teach you how to turn the shitty stuff into gold. Now, there's a chance you've walked into this masterclass with specific circumstances in mind that you feel compelled to defend to your death that they were really shitty and they can't be considered to be anything but shitty. So this includes losing people that you love, maybe it's the experience of divorce, or physical, emotional, or sexual abuse at any age. And this is where I'm going to let you know that you're allowed to think that all those situations were or are still shitty. Okay, you can think that they were terrible, traumatic, awful, whatever you want to think about them. But then what, my friend? What comes next? Moving forward, what do you now want to think about those so-called shitty situations in your life? If you get to define what those experiences mean to you, I've already decided, okay, they can be shitty, but how do you want to think about that shitty situation? And remember my definition of a shitty thought, okay? The simplest way to identify one was by how it makes you feel. And if a specific thought continues to make you feel some version of shitty, then I want you to consider that it could be a really unuseful thought. A golden thought, on the other hand, which we're going to be speaking about a lot more later in this masterclass, is a thought that empowers you and gives you strength and makes you feel hopeful about life. And here's the bombshell, you actually have the option of choosing to think golden thoughts even about shitty circumstances, because they're going to leave you feeling more positive about yourself and your life, which in turn is going to lead to positive actions and positive results moving forward. So let's just use the example of your past. Your past right now just exists as sentences inside your own head. And no matter what has happened to you in the past, no matter what trauma you experienced as a child or a teen or a young adult, those experiences are now long gone. And you get to decide what your past as a collective whole means to you today. How has it shaped you as a person? How has it impacted your life? or helped you grow. So just some examples of really shitty thoughts to carry with you into your future about your past include, well, I was unwanted. I was never loved as a child. I don't even know what a healthy relationship looks like. There's no hope for me. I can't do anything right. I'm destined to be fat or poor or neurotic or whatever. And even if these statements feel like accurate representations of your life, they're actually just thoughts, my friend. And even if on some level, like you honestly believe that they are 100% true, what's the benefit of you telling yourself this on a daily basis? Is there anything positive that would come from holding tight onto these type of beliefs? I mean, let's just use the example of a factual thought such as every time I drive a car, there's a chance I might die in a car accident. I mean, that's true, right? But what would you gain from telling yourself this every single time you got in the car? Nothing, right? Now, I'm allergic to bees, but I don't go around every time I walk on grass telling myself, or every time I'm near flowers, that a bee might kill me right now. Of course, like it's a possibility, but if a thought makes you feel shitty, I recommend that you loosen your grip on it instead and choose to let it go. But what else can I think about my past instead, you might be wondering? Well, thankfully, my friend, I've got lots of golden thoughts to offer you. Okay, so no matter what you have experienced in your life, in your past, you can just decide to think today, my past has given me the strength that I need to succeed. I am grateful for the lessons that my past has taught me. I refuse to replay that past pain or hurt or disappointments in my mind on a daily basis. And I have the ability to heal myself from pain. I'm ready to move on. I have my own back. Superhuman strength is born out of those dark times, and the past holds no power over me now. I am focused on the present, and I'm intentionally creating a life that I love. I'm worthy of love and being loved, and I've always been worthy of love and being loved. My past does not define me. So can you see how a person could potentially choose to embrace thoughts like this about their so-called shitty past? And yes, they can acknowledge it was really shitty. No matter what their past looks like, they can still think these thoughts. And the reason that I call them golden thoughts is because, once again, like the way that they make you feel. So let's just use that first thought as an example. My past has given me the strength that I need to succeed. How would you think you feel if you embrace this one thought more often? Now, my guess is that you might feel something like strength or determination. And when you feel strong and determined, what sort of actions do you take in your life? You pick yourself back up every single time you fall. You keep on going, even when times are tough. You refuse to give up, which all in all will create a result in your life that you find that you do indeed have the strength and determination to succeed. So the way to turn all the shitty stuff in your life into gold is to learn to think different thoughts about your circumstances, think different thoughts about the events you're experiencing, about the people in your life. And you also need to think different thoughts about your ability to cope with those situations. Because if you've followed me so far, you've begun to see that shitty thoughts will always lead to shitty feelings, which lead to shitty actions, and in turn, shitty results in your life. And we don't want that. Like, all is good and well if you want to live a shitty life, but is this really what you want to create for yourself? Like, if you're blessed enough to be granted a long and healthy life for yourself, and you make it to the age of 80 or 90, do you want to look back at your life, like reflect back and think, yay, like I'm so glad that I was thinking shitty thoughts all the time about everything all those years? My guess is that you don't want that for yourself. So why don't we now chat about the 3 golden feelings that I'm going to be encouraging you to embrace instead on a daily basis? And it is honestly, these 3 feelings, these 3 golden feelings are going to turn all the shitty stuff in your life into gold, my friend. So let's start with golden feeling number 1, gratitude. So gratitude is defined as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for things and people, and to return kindness in your life. And I think many of us already know like that gratitude is one of those amazing feelings that kickstarts like a whole slew of other positive emotions, like happy, like even when you have little, and fulfilled, even though technically you might be missing some things. It's just a little emotion has a powerful effect, a ripple effect on all the other areas of your life. So gratitude is when you're focused on what you do have rather than what you don't have in your life. And when you're appreciating and giving thanks for those things, the things that you have. So it's when you look at your bed and you give thanks for having a warm place to sleep at night. It's when you look at the humans in your life and you think, well, I'm so lucky to have this opportunity to live life with them, to grow and evolve alongside them. These relationships are a gift to me. It's when you look at your home and no matter what it looks like, you think, I'm so lucky to have a place to live. And it's when you realize like, well, I'm actually really lucky to have eyes that can see, ears that can hear, a body that can move, hands that can write, and so on. Because there are people in this world who don't have that. Okay, it's not a given. And gratitude comes from appreciating what you already have. It's when you consciously and intentionally choose not to take things for granted. So it comes from thinking thoughts like, I have everything I need inside me to succeed. What I have right now is enough for me today. Because if you're solely fixated on acquiring material possessions or the things that you're missing in life, like you're focused on that, you're consequently going to find that you're always feeling empty or incomplete because your focus is on lack rather than abundance. And if you're consciously choosing to focus on lack, the things that you're missing, there's going to come a time in your life when you realize it's never enough. Like there's always more you can have. But what if what you already have is enough. Now, of course, like being grateful doesn't mean that you can't set big goals or that you can't dream big visions for yourself. You should do that, of course, but it's knowing that you can feel grateful along the journey while you're taking it, rather than thinking that all the good stuff, all the good feelings will only come to you, or that you're only allowed to experience the good emotions when you reach a particular destination. But what if you can feel grateful right now? And how can you achieve this feeling? Well, it's simply by giving thanks daily to the things that are already in your life. Even giving thanks to yourself. So let me break this down for you, my friend. Like, if gratitude is a golden emotion that we all want to experience in your life, hopefully you've already worked out that the way to experience this feeling is to think specific thoughts that are making you feel grateful. Now, the list of thoughts that could potentially make you feel really grateful is probably kilometers long. So I just wanted to share with you just a few thoughts that arouse this feeling in me. Okay, and then get to work at pinpointing those specific thoughts that arouse the feeling in you. So for me, like, I feel grateful when I think thoughts like, I'm so lucky to be alive. Like, my life is a precious gift. I'm so lucky to live in a time where the potential for learning new things and acquiring new knowledge is so easily accessible. I'm so lucky that I get to realize that I can change my life by changing my thoughts. Okay, you've got this gift now too. I'm so lucky that I get to decide how I want to show up every day. I'm so grateful for everything around me, like even my obstacles and challenges in my life. I'm grateful for them because they help me grow more and more each day. Even my mistakes, even my failures, like they're potentially just lessons in disguise. And I can and I will learn from everything around me. And as such, I'm appreciating it all, like this precious life that I've been gifted with, this opportunity that I have right now to just be here on earth, to be alive, to be here, like talking to you. This for me is a gift that I appreciate. And I wanted to share with you some fun facts that lots of people don't take the time to consider. But if you have food in your fridge right now and clothes in your cupboard and a roof over your head and a place to sleep in, you're actually richer than most people in this world right now. 3 billion people in this world are currently living on $2 a day, $2 a day. And here's another fact that not many of us actually take the time to ponder on. But if you woke up today feeling healthy and not ill, you're more blessed than the million people who will not survive this week. If you're also fortunate enough to have an income of over 41,000 USD dollars, okay, you are falling in the top 3% of the richest people in the world, okay? The richest people in the entire world. And if you've never experienced the danger of a battle or the torture of imprisonment or warfare or the pangs of starvation, you're luckier than the 823 million people alive and suffering from this today. They've gone through that and you haven't, okay? Be grateful. And if you can read, you're more fortunate than the 773 million people in the world who cannot read at all. And if you have access to the internet, you're more fortunate than the 2.9 billion people who've never accessed the internet at all. And as you waste your breath complaining about life or another terrible problem, someone else right now in this world at this very second is breathing their last breath. And of course, like all the stats that I've mentioned are going to vary according to different research stats, but for the most part, they are indicative of what is true in the world today. So in a nutshell, I just want you to remember that you have the option to count your blessings rather than counting your perceived problems every day. And can you start to see like how thinking really simple yet powerful thoughts of gratitude, just like the ones I mentioned, are really available to every human in this world, no matter what you've gone through, no matter what you've experienced, and it's going to help you turn the shitty stuff into gold. So let's move on to the second golden feeling that I've identified for you, and it is strength. So strength is defined as the capacity of a person, object, or substance to withstand great force or pressure. So when we speak about mental strength or emotional resilience, it's categorized by how effectively someone deals with challenges, pressures, or the stresses they might be facing in their life. And I absolutely love embracing this emotion, strength, because it really does have the power to transform even the crappy situations in your life into gold. And you might be thinking, well, that's really easy for you because you've never experienced anything terrible in your life. And I want to remind you, I am a fellow human being, just like you. I'm having a human experience in life as I go through it at the same time as you, full of obstacles and challenges, ups and downs, highs and lows, and so on. Okay, no one can escape this because this is a part of the human experience. And the things that really make those situations like really terrible and cause us to suffer like long after the fact is specifically our thinking about those situations. So let me share with you an example of my son who has a degenerative neuromuscular condition that requires him to use a wheelchair. So he's actually had multiple surgeries over the years, but I just want to highlight the last two. So the last two surgeries he had were a double foot reconstruction. It was a 6-hour surgery, and then he had a spinal fusion surgery that was over 8 hours long. So before and after this first surgery, like the first one in particular, I didn't manage my mind well. well. Like I let my mind drift to the land of woe is me. This is really terrible. And my whole experience of those months, like leading up to surgery and post-recovery, were not the best. Okay, it felt like I was swimming in a pool of worry and I couldn't get out. And as such, the results that I ended up creating in my life reflected back to me those initial thoughts of worry. Okay, I was holding on to worry so tight. I felt like it was true. And as such, like I created for myself this experience where I was constantly living in worry. Okay. I was making my thoughts come true. So with this second surgery, I consciously chose to focus on a different emotion. I wanted to embrace the golden one of strength. Now, bear in mind, like this second surgery was actually a lot more invasive. Like the doctors literally said to me, they said these words, like there's a chance that your child might not make it through. They might be a paraplegic post-surgery, which isn't the nicest thing to hear. Like even when I'm saying it, it's still making me feel a bit emotional. And obviously I'm feeling emotional because there's like an onslaught of different thoughts that I can choose to latch onto, okay? The ones of fear, the ones of worry, they're gonna make me feel fearful and worried. But this time around, like my experience was completely different because I chose to focus on thoughts that made me feel strong. So I embraced thoughts like, I am strong and resilient. No matter what happens, we can get through this. I can cope and handle anything that comes my way. Life can be hard, but I can do the hard stuff. And even if that worst case scenario, there were plenty of them, comes to play, I'm still going to show up and live my life in the best way that I know how, in the best way that I can. I can do this. I believe in myself. These unexpected life experiences are helping me grow. They are gifting me with so much more compassion for myself and others that I wouldn't have otherwise had. So once again, like these were pretty simple thoughts. And believe me when I say that I've embraced these same thoughts every single time that life has done life, like life is just doing life and it throws me a challenge. I choose to think these thoughts. And can you see how these golden thoughts, okay, are making me feel strong? And when I feel strong, I take different actions than I would definitely if I was feeling fear or worry. And as such, the results that I create in my life simply confirm back to me just how strong I really am. And I want to offer you that you too can choose to embrace thoughts like this, no matter what life throws you away, my friend. And you can just decide they are true, because what makes something true or not, it's whether you choose to believe it or not. And why not believe something that makes you feel good about yourself, that makes you feel good about your life and others? And now for the third and final golden feeling. Okay, it might not be something that you're expecting to hear, but it is curiosity. Now, if you're thinking I was going to say something like joy or happiness, I want to actually say that these positive emotions are actually usually a side effect that comes after you've embraced gratitude and strength and curiosity in your life. So let me explain what I mean by this, like curiosity. So curiosity is defined as a strong desire to know or learn something. It's when you think thoughts like, well, I wonder why that person behaved in the way that they did, rather than assuming that you can read their mind and that you're assuming that their actions were done to intentionally hurt you. It's when you ask more questions rather than assuming you know all the answers. It's when you give thought to the fact that every single human in this world has the same needs as you. They just want to be loved, heard, appreciated, and understood, just like you. And it's when you wonder, like when you genuinely wonder, like I wonder what it'd be like to walk in that person's shoes for a day. What would it be like to be them? And it's when you take the time to self-reflect and ask yourself questions like, well, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to embrace? What's working for me? What's not working for me? And what do I need to do differently? And actually taking the time to answer these questions. Curiosity is when you are curious about yourself and others and your goals and everything in this world without being judgmental, okay? We're removing the judgment, okay? We're genuinely curious. We genuinely desire to know more and learn more, because when you know better, you can do better. So just some example thoughts that make me personally feel curious include thinking thoughts like, well, other people are genuinely doing the best that they can with the tools and resources that they have at their disposal. How could this be true for that person? How have their experiences shaped them to become the person they are today? Now, another thought is every human in this world has a human brain, so we're all going to make mistakes, and sometimes we all behave in ways we don't love. And what if this is okay? What if it's okay that we're all humans making mistakes and failing and doing stuff we don't love? Okay, what if we showed some compassion in this moment? And another thought is we are all here to learn and grow, and sometimes we do it at a different pace. And what if I granted that person more love and compassion in this moment rather than anger and frustration? What would that look like? And what sort of result would behaving in that way create for me? So can you see how these thoughts, these specific thoughts, spark curiosity in a person? They have the potential to take the edge or fire out of a heated moment or a struggle that you might be facing. So I wonder what would happen if I did things differently. I wonder what I can learn from this experience. I wonder how this experience is potentially serving me. Like, is there a gem hidden inside the rubble? grateful? And in what way could I approach the situation right now that would leave me feeling good and strong about myself? And the only way that you're going to find the answers to these questions is by taking the time to be curious and let your mind wander. Like, let it wander. I honestly believe that people aren't curious enough. Like, they believe that they already know everything that there is to know, which is fine if you've created for yourself like the most amazing epic life. But if your results in life are shitty, then I encourage you to go back and question the thoughts you're embracing on a daily basis, because maybe there is more for you to learn about yourself in this world. Now, I love his quote by Socrates, who said, "All I know is nothing." Okay, well, he said, all I know is nothing. And I know, like, it probably sounds like a really limiting thought, but it's actually way more freeing than thinking I know everything about myself and others in this world. Because that particular thought, like I know everything about myself and others in the world, is just a dead end street. Because where do you go after that if you're an expert on everything? Like, when you consider that you don't know everything about everyone and everything, that you maybe just know just a tiniest fraction, like 0.00001% of this world, that is when you open your life up to wonder and curiosity and learning new things again. So I am encouraging you to feel free to be curious, my friend. Again, open your mind wider, as wide as you can get it, because it's an often neglected emotion that seriously has the power to change your life. Okay, we don't speak about curiosity enough, but really being curious, that is when you find the answers to all of your questions. So just to wrap up this workshop, I have offered you here the simplest way to turn all the shitty stuff into gold, and it's by embracing those 3 golden emotions: gratitude, strength, and curiosity. And the way to experience these feelings is by thinking thoughts that make you feel that way. So that's your work to do, my friend. I very rarely give any homework when it comes to masterclasses, but if I was to give you any homework, pinpoint thoughts that make you feel grateful, strong, and curious, or just borrow the ones that I mentioned in this masterclass. Because when you are feeling grateful and strong and curious, this will completely transform the way that you take action and consequently the results in your life. And in my business, I teach intentional creation, which means that in order to create the results that you want in your life, you intentionally need to choose your thoughts. You intentionally need to choose your actions. You intentionally need to choose your responses. You intentionally need to choose how you spend your time. And this is completely different from just drifting, like drifting through the day with zero focus, drifting through the day with zero intention, letting your negative thoughts get the better of you, letting your precious time slip through your fingertips, and showing up every day in a way that you don't love, like when you're showing up unintentionally. And the only way that you can resolve this drifting is by reminding yourself that you are in the driver's seat of your life, my friend. You get to choose what you focus on, and you get to choose what you think about everything in your life. So choose to be intentional and know that you can be intentional. It's within your power. This is your one precious life that you are living each day, and this is your precious time that you've been gifted with. So know that you have the option to show up each day in a way that you won't later regret by thinking thoughts that make you feel good, by thinking thoughts that make you feel supported, that make you feel really strong and grateful and curious, like we discussed in this masterclass, those golden thoughts, rather than thoughts that drag you down, that keep you in that victim mentality, victim mode, or basically any thought that is making you feel really shitty, okay, and creating shitty results that you don't like and you don't want in your life anymore. Because your experience of life is always going to depend on what lens you choose to view it from. It's always going to be a matter of your perspective, and what you choose to think is going to be that first domino effect that influences everything. Your feelings, your actions, and results. It all comes back to how you are choosing to think. And to change your whole experience in life, you need to start by changing the way that you think about yourself and this world and others and the experiences that you are experiencing. And when you do this, like simply change your lens and your thoughts, everything else will change, my friend. It really is that simple. This is how you turn the shitty stuff into gold, my friend. So before you go, I want to share with you how you can take the next step towards living a life where your mind really does feel well managed and you consistently show up every single day with an attitude that supports you and moves you forward in life, like directly to your goals, like the things that you want to achieve, rather than holding you back in life. So if you've received some massive shifts or any aha moments during our time together, and I do hope you've experienced some of those, and the content that we've chatted about in this masterclass has resonated with you, I would absolutely love to introduce you to my course, the Managing Your Mind Master Course, which is a program that will help you ditch the mental clutter and negative chatter and instead embrace more calm, purpose, and focus in your life every single day. So my core promise to you inside the Managing Your Mind Master Course is to provide you with the simplest strategies to manage your mind in a way that gets you the results you want. And yes, this actually works no matter what your ultimate goal is, no matter what, okay, it works. And this is about taking everything that we've learned today to that next level. If we can consider today be like step one, level one, okay, we're going all the way to level level 10. And so this course is for you. If you have a lot of negative brain chatter going on, you feel stressed and overwhelmed all the time, you tend to blame other people for your problems, or you think thoughts like, if only other people would just change or act differently, I would be totally fine or totally happy. And of course, you don't admit this out loud to anyone, but seriously, if people did change, you're certain that it would solve a lot of your problems. So in a nutshell, your negative thoughts aren't in alignment with the amazing self that you know you have the potential to be. And because your negative thoughts aren't in alignment, then neither are your feelings, your actions and results. And as such, you simply aren't living the life right now that you have the potential to live. And you do have that potential, I promise you. And I don't think I've ever used the word implore before, but I'm using it here for the first time ever, because I really do implore that you make this investment in yourself that will teach you the life transforming skill of learning how to better manage your mind every single day. Now, we waste so much money on stuff that honestly doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, or on things that we hope will make us feel better, and then we neglect to invest in our mind, even though this is the one thing that we have to listen to every single day for the rest of our life. We can run away from lots of things, but you can't run away from your brain, my friend. And guess what would actually make you genuinely feel better every day? It's not another pair of shoes. It's not a new dress. It's having this skill of managing your mind, of being able to choose thoughts that actually support you in life, that are in turn going to impact how you feel and act and the results that you create. I personally have a degree in psychology, over 20 years experience as a life coach. And even still to this day, I promise you, this is what I consider my most important work to do, thought work. And so many people neglect it. I never really understand. They're walking around this life, this world, feeling totally crappy, and they don't even realize that they're doing it to themselves by the thoughts that they're choosing to think. So inside this course, which has over 3 hours of video content, you're going to find the most life transforming ideas and concepts that will literally change you from the inside out. Because remember, that's the way it works. You need to first change your inner world in order to change your outer world. And the best news is this course can be consumed in small little chunks. I love baby steps, so you never have to feel overwhelmed again, and it's yours to support you for life. So the Managing Your Mind Master course also comes with so many amazing bonuses, like the Changing Your Thoughts workbook, the Feeling Starter Bank, the Grow and Evolve question cards for personal growth, and the Warrior Handbook, which is something I live by, the 100 thoughts to repeat every single day. And even if you don't feel ready yet, I still encourage you to take that next step with me, because it's as T. Harv Eker so wisely said, training and managing your own mind is the most important skill you could ever own in terms of both happiness and success. And the idea that I always love to play with is, what if everything that you want right now is on the other side of your hesitation and your doubt and your fear? And what would it be like to trade in that pain that you're experiencing every day, due to disappointment or regret, all that negative chatter, for a different sort of discomfort, a different sort of pain, which is when you are stretching yourself to try something new, exploring new ways of living and new ways of thinking about yourself and the world. Okay, if it's going to be uncomfortable either way, why not choose the discomfort that actually serves you, the one that actually takes you closer to your dreams rather than further away? So if you're tired of feeling tired or stressed or angry or frustrated or any of those negative emotions all the time, allow me to show you a different way to live, a way where your mind can honestly calmly face any situation in life and think, bring it on, my friend. I know exactly what I need to do now in order to create the results that I want in my life. And because you've attended this masterclass with me today, I'm extending to you a special offer that you will find only available on this page for a limited time. So you can find the offer listed below, so please make sure to check it out and then come and take this leap with me, because honestly, your life is going to change. I don't make those promises lightly. I make them because I mean it. Your life will change after taking this course. And what awaits you on the other side is something so amazing. And if I don't deliver on my promise to you, you can confidently always let me know, and I will offer you a no questions asked refund. But of course, I know that you're going to get what you need out of this course, because it is going to teach you how to master and manage your mindset 100%. And before you go, I just want to say that I genuinely want the best for you. I created this course because I was so tired of seeing people standing in their own way, allowing their own thoughts to hold them back in life. It was almost like they were their own worst enemy. And today is the day when we say enough is enough. So are you ready to embrace something different in your life from this moment forward? Of course, you and I both know that the answer is yes, yes, yes. So all you need to do now is take me up on my special limited time offer today that you're going to find below on this page. And I can't wait to catch you inside the Managing Your Mind Master Course. Your life is about to change, my friend. Much love as always. Please know that I love and appreciate you all, and I cannot wait to catch up with you next time. 'Take care until then, my friend. Thank you so much for listening to the Inspiring Life School podcast. I really appreciate you allowing me to be a part of your life. If you'd love to stay in touch, please know that you can always find me on Instagram at Vidakovic, or you can visit my website inspiringmumlife.com, where you can sign up and receive so many amazing freebies that I've created just for you to help you implement all my teachings into practice. There you'll also find all my online courses, resources and programs that I've created to help you uplevel your life in seriously the simplest way possible, so that you can ultimately create for yourself a life that feels simpler, lighter, and allows you to show up in a way that you love as your best and most authentic version of yourself. Now remember, this podcast is all about not just dreaming but also doing, because to create true sustainable change in your life, you need to be willing to do things differently. And that's what I'm here to support you to do every single step along the way, so that you too can begin to live your one wild and precious life with less stress, less overwhelm, less drama, and instead with zero regrets. Finally, if this podcast resonates with you at all and you appreciate the content, I would absolutely love for you to show your support by leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts. I'm on a mission to help more people wake up to the preciousness of life and to help them live their days with more intention and purpose, and your review will help make this goal of mine possible. Well, once again, thank you so much. I have loved spending this time with you, and I look forward to connecting with you again. I'm Vidakovic, and you have been listening to the Inspiring Life School podcast.